motion before the House tonight is this House believes that religion has no place in public life. And I look to Frankie Wright, Secretary's Committee, Trinity College, to open the case for the proposition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Madam President, for the opportunity to speak in this historic chamber. This society is so unique. From the incredible speakers it has hosted, its history-making debates, and of course, toxic-fueled elections. Indeed, there are few things more damaging, more toxic, or more divisive than the unity of student politics and a student speaking and debating society. Except perhaps the topic of the debate this evening, the fusion of religion and public life. While my fellow proposition speakers will seek to dismantle the fundamental basis for both belief in God and support of religion, and will do so eloquently, I have no such lofty goals. My speech will address the harm that religion can cause when it is fused with public life. Religion, whether it is constitutionally enshrined and forms a major part of a government, or whether it simply dominates public discourse, is always damaging and thus should be removed. The first point I will make is in regards to the imposition of a moral framework that religion demands, and how, while on a personal level it may be beneficial, on a societal level it is extremely damaging. Secondly, that the us versus them mentality that religion encourages is divisive, and exactly the sort of thing we should be avoiding in modern politics. And finally, that the increasingly blurred line between religion and public life is draining society. It's holding back societal progress. And if we were to sever religious ties to public life, we could advance much faster. But before I begin, it falls to me to introduce the speakers currently lining the opposition benches, just waiting to leap to the defense of these archaic institutions. The first opposition speaker tonight is one Adam Shiri, a PPE student from Balliol College, a fellow member of Secretary's Committee, and a dear friend. That wasn't sarcasm. It came at no surprise to me when I heard that Mr. Shiri would be debating for the opposition tonight, given that, as a former pupil of Eton College, he feels right at home defending outdated concepts and corrupt institutions. In addition, I imagine Mr. Shiri feels a degree of metaphorical equivalence with this motion tonight. Religion is incompatible with public life in the same way Mr. Shiri is incompatible with success in union elections. In addition, I do hope he has more success in convincing us that we should not abandon the outdated institutions of religion than he did convincing the presidential candidate that she should slate him for standing elections this term. The second opposition speaker tonight is Professor Richard Swinburne, a renowned author, defender of the supportive relationship between faith and reason, and an emeritus professor of philosophy here at Oxford. As it happens, this is also the third time Mr. Swinburne has addressed this very chamber, and it would appear that he continues to make the same arguments again and again. Perhaps he would have more luck if he were to include some props in his speech. I hear a burning bush could be particularly effective. Some of you not up to date on your Old Testament stories there? That's why that's funny. The third opposition speaker tonight is Miss Jane Ozanne. She's a former member of the Archbishop's Council, the executive body of the Church of England, and now campaigns for gay equality within the Church of England. Her work is nothing short of history-defining. Miss Ozanne is also a graduate of St. John's College, Cambridge, and for that she has my sincerest apologies. And we are delighted to welcome her for the first time to a truly world-leading university. The fourth and final speaker tonight is Mr. Simon van Totem, a member of the Oxford Union Standing Committee and a PPE student from Merton College. Simon is a respected member of Standing Committee and also a self-professed agnostic. Now, as we all know, agnostic is just another word for poor man's atheist. So I invite Simon to join us on Proposition's side and debate for the side you truly believe in. Madam President, these are your guests, and they are most welcome. Now, for my first point regarding the imposition of a moral framework. Religion inherently commands that its followers obey an often highly restrictive moral framework. It judges that some actions are right and others wrong based on religious teaching and ancient texts. On a personal level, this is your decision. You can choose to follow a religious lifestyle because of your personal faith, and we all accept this. No one can prevent you from doing so, from choosing a lifestyle that you believe brings you closer to your God. But the key aspect of this is the deeply personal nature of religion. Issues arise when your beliefs stray into public life, when we start forcing others to conform to our moral standards, and it often has disastrous results. And religion, by its very nature, has this effect, attempting to convert people who do not agree with its moral framework and condemning those who continue to disagree with them. By what authority do you claim to force others to abide by your world view? Simply because you appeal to divine supremacy does not make it right. Surely the sheer number of gods and religions across the world are testimony to this. And even still, who is to say that your God is the true God? And even if I accept that assumption, who is to say that your church, or you particularly, have interpreted his, her, or their teachings correctly and have formed the correct moral basis? This lack of knowledge, this lack of legitimate truth, makes the entire notion of forcing others to conform to your worldview abhorrent, and is precisely why religion should be severed from public life. My second argument is that religion is inherently divisive. By its nature, it separates society into two groups, believers and non-believers. When religion becomes a large part of public life, this division is enhanced, and it can quickly turn ugly, with people viewing those who do not share their religious perspective as flawed or failing or at risk. Surely we've had enough of divisive politics, the bigoted, vitriolic anti-immigration rhetoric from Trump and Brexit, the vicious personal attacks which so often have become part and parcel of modern politics. Why are we so keen to accept yet another reason to divide our society? When religion remains private, when your faith is between you and your God, there is limited chance for it to divide, as your religious stance is not a matter of public knowledge. No one can know the stance you take because you do not wear your religious beliefs on your sleeve. When we keep our faith private, society remains whole. And I think we can all agree that that is better. My final argument is certainly a harsher one more critical of religion as an institution. However, I will endeavor to keep it grounded in the rules of the motion and focus on the relationship between religion and public life. There is no doubt that religion has acted as a drain on society. In the past, religion has opposed the majority of great scientific discoveries and has acted against the furthering of scientific knowledge. Galileo himself was imprisoned by the Catholic faith and died under their house arrest. And this stance continues in the modern day. Stem cell research is opposed by all major religions, despite its capacity to save thousands of lives. And modern religions also stand opposed to blood transfusions, and some even oppose vaccinations. Not only does religion hold back scientific progress, but it also opposes major social advancement. The arguments against gay marriage, which previously proliferated society, were grounded in conservative religious thought, as were the arguments against abortion. While some may argue that religion can be a progressive force, this is not the norm, and far too often, religion acts as a deeply conservative force in society. However, these issues are truly only a problem when religion is a major part of public life. When churches command such power and authority that they can dictate policy and regulation, and when legislators are such devout members of their congregation that they cease to legislate from reason and begin to legislate from faith. In these cases, religion acts as a barrier to progress and change, preventing science and society from advancing. It is for these reasons that faith should be confined to our private lives. Let society advance as it should, bringing with it renewed acceptance and discovery, allowing us to disregard the inequality and division that religion has previously imposed upon us, allowing humanity to live in equity, regardless of whom you love, and promoting a healthier, longer-living populace. It is therefore evident that religion and public life should ultimately be kept separate. It is not that they are entirely incompatible, but that the consequences of the merging of the two are simply not worth bearing. When combined, they create too great a burden for society, and they prevent humanity from achieving its greatest potential. Let us finally admit that religion should not be accepted as a part of public life, and move forward with an understanding that one's faith is between them and their God. Ladies and gentlemen, it is for these reasons that I implore you to support this motion and walk through the door marked A at the end of this evening. Thank you.